This is fake. Maid's daughter exposed a 250 mailer scam in front of a sheikh. The big gold light hung from the ceiling. Sheikh Ahmad's voice was loud and angry across the big white room. You dare stop my meeting with your lies? His dark eyes were full of anger as he looked down at the young woman. Guards, take this maid's daughter away right now. Amira stood there. She could not move. Her heart was beating so fast. Every person in the room was looking at her. 50 of the richest men in the world turned to see the girl who dared to speak against their big money deal. Please, sir, she said softly. Her voice was so quiet. Just listen to me for 1 minute. That paper you want to sign, it's all fake. Everyone in the room made shocked sounds. Marcus, the rich man from England, laughed in a mean way. His expensive suit was shiny under the lights. Sheikh Ahmad, I'm sorry for this problem. This girl does not understand what we're talking about here. But Amira's hands were shaking for a different reason. She knew something they didn't know. Something that would change everything. 3 hours before this, Amira was invisible. Just another servant girl cleaning the floors of the big house. Her mother worked as the main maid here for 15 years. Amira helped after school and on weekends to help their small family get money. Amira, the big room needs to be perfect, her mother called out. The sheikh has very important rich men coming tonight. Make sure everything is clean and shiny. Amira said okay quietly. She was used to being invisible. Rich people looked right through girls like her. She wore her simple black work clothes and kept her head down. That's how she stayed safe in this world of rich things she could never buy. As she cleaned the big table, she heard the talk happening nearby. Marcus was practicing his speech with 2 other men. The numbers look perfect, Marcus said with confidence. $250 million for a mine that does not exist. The fake reports about the ground look real. Amira's cleaning cloth stopped moving. Did she hear that right? The sheikh will never know, another man laughed. These oil-rich Arabs throw money around without thinking. By the time they know there's no gold mine in Africa, we'll be gone. Her blood felt like ice. They wanted to steal $250 million from Sheikh Ahmad, a man who had been good to her family for years. And if someone gets suspicious? The third man asked. Who would believe a bunch of strangers over us? Marcus smiled in a mean way. We have the best lawyers, the best fake papers, and the best friends in high places. This will be the easiest money we ever made. But what happened next shocked everyone in that room. As the evening started, Amira tried to focus on her work. She gave drinks to the rich guests. She cleaned up spills. She stayed invisible, but her mind was thinking fast. Sheikh Ahmad was a good man. He paid good money to his workers. He helped send many workers' kids to college. He even said he would pay for Amira's college next year. These men wanted to destroy him. The big presentation started at 8 o'clock. Marcus stood up front with confidence. His computer slides showed pretty pictures of Africa. Charts and graphs said people would make lots of money. Men, he said, I show you the chance of a lifetime. The Zambezi gold mine project will change how we get gold from East Africa. The rich men nodded and agreed. Sheikh Ahmad leaned forward with interest. Our studies of the ground show the biggest gold mine no one has touched in the area. Marcus continued. For just $250 million to start, people who invest can expect to make over 800% more money in 3 years. Amira was fixing flowers at the back of the room. Every word felt like a knife in her chest. These were all lies. The best part of this chance, Marcus smiled, is that we do everything. People just send their money to our safe accounts. We take care of all the work in Africa. You sit back and watch your money grow. But here's what none of them knew about Amira. Her father had been Professor Hassan, a smart money teacher who worked at Cairo University before he died in a car crash 5 years ago. He spent hours teaching Amira about money, investing, and most important, how to spot people who steal money with tricks. Amira, he used to say, the biggest thieves wear the nicest clothes. They use big words and fancy talks to steal people's dreams. As Marcus talked, Amira saw things others missed. The ground report had wrong dates. The mine permits came from a government office that was not real. The money math used formulas that made no sense. This was exactly the kind of stealing trick her father warned her about. The presentation went on for 30 minutes. Charts showed fake profits. Photos showed fake mining equipment. Documents had fake signatures from African officials. As you can see, Marcus pointed to a graph, our profit margins are unprecedented. The African government has already approved all permits. Local workers are ready to begin extraction immediately. Sheikh Ahmad raised his hand. This looks very promising, Mr. Marcus, but I must ask, how do we know the gold deposits are as large as you claim? Excellent question, Your Excellency, Marcus replied smoothly. We have conducted extensive geological surveys using the most advanced ground-penetrating radar. The results are conclusive. He clicked to the next slide. It showed a cross-section of underground rock formations with bright yellow areas marked as gold deposits. Amira's father had taught her about geology too. She could see immediately that the rock layers were wrong. The gold deposits were drawn in impossible locations. No real geologist would make such basic mistakes. But the men in the room saw only dollar signs. Furthermore, Marcus continued, we have exclusive mining rights for the entire region. No other company can compete with us. It's a complete monopoly on the richest gold deposits in Africa. More lies. Amira knew that most African countries didn't grant exclusive rights to foreign companies anymore. Not after decades of exploitation. Sheikh Ahmad looked impressed. Other investors whispered excitedly to each other. The timeline is aggressive but achievable, Marcus said. First gold extraction begins in 6 months. Full production capacity within 18 months. Return on investment guaranteed within 3 years. Guaranteed returns. That was the biggest red flag of all. Her father always said, Amira, if someone guarantees you will make money, they are trying to steal from you. Real investments have risk. I'm prepared to invest $50 million immediately, announced Mr. Yamamoto, a Japanese businessman. Count me in for $30 million, said another investor. $40 million from me, added a third. The numbers kept growing. These men were about to lose millions of dollars to a complete lie. Sheikh Ahmad stood up. Gentlemen, this opportunity is too good to pass up. I propose we invest the full amount together. $250 million. We'll split the returns proportionally. The room erupted in applause. Marcus's eyes lit up with greed. His plan was working perfectly. Excellent decision, Your Excellency, Marcus said. I have the contracts ready for signature. Once you wire the funds to our escrow account, we can begin operations immediately. This was it. The moment they would steal everything, Amira felt sick to her stomach. In 5 minutes, these good men would lose everything. Their money would disappear. Marcus and his friends would vanish. The sheikh who had been kind to her family would be destroyed. She had to do something. But what could a maid's daughter do against these powerful men? Her father's voice echoed in her memory. Sometimes, Amira, the smallest person in the room has the biggest truth. Don't let fear stop you from speaking up. The contracts were being passed around the table. Golden pens were being prepared. Bank account numbers were being written down. Before we sign, Sheikh Ahmad announced, let's toast to our partnership and future prosperity. Champagne glasses were filled. The men stood up smiling and congratulating each other. Marcus raised his glass. To the Zambezi gold mining project and to making history together. To making history, the investors repeated. They were about to drink when a small voice cut through the celebration. Stop. Everyone turned. Amira stood at the back of the room, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might explode. Please don't sign those papers, she said, her voice getting stronger. It's all fake. They're trying to steal your money. The room went completely silent. Marcus's face turned red with anger. Security! Get this girl out of here immediately. Wait, Sheikh Ahmad held up his hand. He looked at Amira with curious eyes. Let her speak. What do you mean it's fake? Amira took a deep breath. This was her chance. Her only chance. The mine doesn't exist, she said clearly. The geological reports are fake. The government permits are fake. Even the photos are fake. Marcus laughed loudly. Your Excellency, this is ridiculous. Are you really going to listen to a servant girl over established businessmen? I heard them talking earlier. Amira continued, her confidence growing. They said it was the easiest money they'd ever steal. They called you all stupid for throwing money around without thinking. The investors looked shocked. Some started whispering angrily. This is absurd, Marcus protested. I won't stand here and be accused by a child who probably can't even read. But Sheikh Ahmad was looking at Amira differently now. What makes you think the documents are fake? This was the moment. Everything depended on what she said next. Amira walked slowly to the front of the room. Every step felt heavy. 50 pairs of eyes watched her every move. Her simple black work dress looked so poor next to all the expensive suits. "Your Excellency," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "My father taught me about money before he died. He showed me how to spot people who steal with tricks." Marcus laughed again. "Oh, so now the maid's daughter is a financial expert? This is getting better and better." But Sheikh Ahmad raised his hand for silence. "Continue, child." Amira pointed to the big screen. "That rock picture is wrong. Gold doesn't form like that in the ground. The yellow parts are drawn in impossible places." "She's making it up," Marcus said quickly. "She's probably never even seen a geological survey before." "Also," Amira continued, getting braver, "the dates on your permits don't match. Some are from before the government office even existed, and the stamps are wrong colors." Now some investors were looking more carefully at the documents. Mr. Yamamoto picked up his copy. "She's right. This permit is dated January 15th but signed on January 12th. That's impossible." Marcus's face was getting redder. "These are simple printing errors. Every document has small mistakes. And your bank account," Amira said, looking directly at Marcus. "It's not a real escrow account. It's just your personal account in Switzerland." The room went dead quiet. "How could you possibly know that?" Marcus demanded. Amira's heart was beating so fast, but she knew she had to keep going. "Because I've been listening. I heard you and your friends talking about how easy it would be to fool everyone." Sheikh Ahmad's eyes were getting darker. "Is this true, Mr. Marcus? Is this account in your name?" "Of course not," Marcus said too quickly. "It's a standard escrow arrangement. Every international deal works this way." But his hands were shaking now. Sweat was forming on his forehead. "Prove it," said Mr. Chen, another investor. "Call the bank. Show us the account details." "I don't have to prove anything to anyone," Marcus snapped. "Especially not because of accusations from a servant girl. That was his first big mistake." Sheikh Ahmad's voice turned cold as ice. "That servant girl has been more honest in 5 minutes than you've been all evening. Call the bank, Mr. Marcus, now." Marcus looked around the room. All the friendly faces had turned suspicious. His perfect plan was falling apart because of a 20-year-old maid's daughter. "This is ridiculous," he said, trying to laugh. "I refuse to be interrogated by a child." "Then leave," Sheikh Ahmad said simply. "Take your fake contracts and get out of my house." "You're making a huge mistake," Marcus warned. "This is a legitimate business opportunity. You're letting a girl destroy a $250 million deal." But something interesting happened next. Mr. Rodriguez, a businessman from Spain, stood up. "I've been doing deals in Africa for 20 years. I know every major mining operation on the continent. There is no Zambezi gold mining project." Marcus's face went completely white. "In fact," Mr. Rodriguez continued, "the area you showed in your presentation is a national park. No mining is allowed there at all." Now all the investors were standing up, looking angry. "You tried to steal from us," Mr. Yamamoto said quietly. His voice was full of controlled rage. "This is all a misunderstanding," Marcus said, backing toward the door. "I can explain everything." "Explain this," Sheikh Ahmad said. He had his phone out. "I just called the African Ministry of Mining. They've never heard of your company." Marcus was trapped. His two friends who had been so confident earlier were now trying to sneak out the back door. "Wait right there," Sheikh Ahmad called to them. "Nobody leaves until we get answers." Security guards blocked all the exits. Amira couldn't believe what was happening. Her small voice had stopped a massive crime. "You have no idea what you've done," Marcus said to her with pure hate in his eyes. "I'll make sure you regret this for the rest of your life." But Sheikh Ahmad stepped between them. "You won't do anything to anyone. You'll be lucky if I don't have you arrested right now." "On what charges?" Marcus demanded. "I haven't taken any money. Attempted fraud. Conspiracy to commit theft. Fake documents." Sheikh Ahmad was counting on his fingers. "Should I continue?" The other investors were now examining all the documents with new eyes. Every page showed more lies. "These mining equipment photos," Mr. Chen said, "they're stock photos from the internet. I can see the watermarks. The serial numbers on this heavy machinery don't match any real equipment," added Mr. Rodriguez. "I've bought mining equipment for 30 years. These are fake pictures." "And these testimonials from satisfied investors," another man said. "These are fake people. I ran the names through our database. They don't exist." "Even worse," Mr. Yamamoto added, studying his papers carefully. "These financial projections use math formulas that make no sense. No real economist would write numbers like this." Marcus was getting more desperate by the minute. His perfect presentation was being torn apart piece by piece. "You're all making a huge mistake," he said, his voice getting higher. "This girl has poisoned your minds with lies." "The only lies here are yours," Sheikh Ahmad said firmly. "Look at this," Mr. Chen continued, holding up another document. "This says the African government guaranteed our investment, but no government guarantees foreign investments. That's basic international law. And this mining license," Mr. Rodriguez said, pointing to the papers, "it's signed by someone called Minister Johnson. There is no Minister Johnson in any African mining ministry. I know them all personally." Amira watched as each investor found more and more problems with Marcus's documents. Her father would have been so proud to see his lessons being used to catch criminals. "The company address in London," another investor said, checking his phone. "It doesn't exist. This building number is not real." "The phone numbers go to voicemail services," added another. "No real offices." Marcus's face was now completely red. Sweat was pouring down his forehead. His perfect scam was collapsing in front of everyone. "This is all circumstantial," he said weakly. "Small errors don't prove anything." "Small errors?" Sheikh Ahmad laughed coldly. "Your entire presentation is full of lies." Then something unexpected happened that shocked everyone even more. Amira's phone rang. She looked at it confused. Who would call her during such an important moment? "Answer it," Sheikh Ahmad said gently. "Hello?" Amira said uncertainly. "Is this Miss Amira Khalil?" a man's voice asked in English. "Yes, sir. This is Detective Morrison from the London Metropolitan Police. We've been tracking an international fraud ring for 6 months. The man you just exposed, Marcus Wellington, is wanted in 4 countries for similar scams." The room went completely silent. You could hear a pin drop. Every investor stared at Amira's phone in shock. Even Marcus stopped sweating for a moment. "We received a tip that he was operating in your area," the detective continued. "Can you confirm that he was attempting to solicit investments for a fake mining operation?" Amira looked around the room. 50 faces stared back at her in amazement. "Yes, sir. That's exactly what happened." "Outstanding. We have units en route to your location. Please keep him there until we arrive." Marcus heard every word. His face turned from red to white to green. "This is impossible," he whispered. "How did they find me?" Detective Morrison's voice came through the phone clearly. "We've been monitoring your communications for weeks, Mr. Wellington. Your phone calls, your emails, your bank transfers. We know everything. But how did you know to call here?" Sheikh Ahmad asked. "We've been tracking Mr. Wellington's location through his phone," Detective Morrison explained. "When we saw he was at your address and we knew Miss Khalil lived there, we hoped she might be able to help us." It was over. Marcus collapsed into a chair, his head in his hands. "We also wanted to thank Miss Khalil," the detective continued. "Her father, Professor Hassan Khalil, helped us develop the techniques we use to track financial fraud. He was a brilliant man." Amira felt tears in her eyes. Her father was still helping people, even after death. "Professor Khalil contacted us years ago about emerging fraud patterns," Detective Morrison explained. "His research saved countless investors from losing their money. It seems his daughter inherited his talent for spotting criminals." Sheikh Ahmad was looking at Amira with new respect. "Your father was Professor Hassan Khalil, the famous economist?" "Yes, sir," Amira said quietly. "He died when I was 15. "I knew your father," Sheikh Ahmad said with amazement. "He advised me on several investments. He was one of the most honest men I ever met." The room was starting to make sense now. This wasn't just a lucky guess by a servant girl. This was the daughter of a brilliant professor who had trained her well. "Professor Khalil wrote several papers about international investment fraud," Mr. Yamamoto said. "I used his research in my own business. His work was revolutionary. He saved my company from a major scam in 2018, added Mr. Rodriguez. "His fraud detection methods are taught in business schools now. I attended his lectures in Cairo," said another investor. The man was a genius at spotting financial lies. Marcus looked up with bitter hate in his eyes. "So this was all planned? You people set me up?" "Nobody set you up," Sheikh Ahmad replied coldly. "You set yourself up by trying to steal from honest people." "Your father never mentioned he had such a smart daughter," Sheikh Ahmad said to Amira. "He talked about you all the time, but he never said you learned his methods." "He taught me every evening after school," Amira replied. He said knowledge was the best protection against people who want to hurt others. He made me study real investment documents, she continued. Then he showed me fake ones. He taught me to spot the differences. He said someday this knowledge might help save someone. The investors were all listening carefully now. They realized they were hearing from someone who had been personally trained by one of the world's experts in fraud detection. What else did your father teach you? Mr. Chen asked with genuine interest. He said criminals always make the same mistakes, Amira explained. They try too hard to look perfect. Real investments always have some risk. Real documents always have some small imperfections. But fake documents try to be too perfect, she continued. Like tonight. Every number was too round. Every projection was too positive. Every guarantee was too strong. The room was completely focused on her now. Even the security guards were listening carefully. My father also taught me that criminals get angry when questioned, Amira said, looking at Marcus. Honest business people welcome questions. They want investors to be careful. But criminals get mad, she continued. They try to make you feel stupid for asking questions. They rush you to make decisions quickly. Marcus had done exactly that all evening. Within 20 minutes, police cars surrounded the palace. Detective Morrison arrived with a full team of international investigators. Mr. Wellington, Detective Morrison said as handcuffs clicked around Marcus's wrists. You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, money laundering, and running an international criminal enterprise. This isn't over, Marcus snarled as they led him away. My lawyers will have me out in 24 hours. Your lawyers have been arrested too, Detective Morrison replied calmly. Along with your partners in New York, London, Dubai, and Hong Kong. This entire network is finished. We've been building this case for 2 years, Detective Morrison explained to the room. Mr. Wellington and his team have stolen over $800 million from investors in 12 countries. The investors gasped. They had almost become part of that statistic. Tonight was supposed to be their biggest score, the detective continued. Thanks to Miss Khalil, we caught them before they could disappear with your money. As the police cars drove away with Marcus and his friends, the investors stood around in stunned silence. That girl just saved us $250 million, Mr. Rodriguez said quietly. More than that, Sheikh Ahmad replied. She saved our reputations, our businesses, and probably our family's futures. If this scam had succeeded, Mr. Yamamoto added, our companies would have been destroyed. Our employees would have lost their jobs. Our families would have been ruined. All eyes turned to Amira. She was standing quietly by the window, still wearing her simple work dress, still looking like just a servant girl. But everyone in that room now knew better. Miss Amira, Sheikh Ahmad said formally, would you please come here? She walked over slowly, still not sure what was happening. Gentlemen, Sheikh Ahmad announced to the room, I would like you to meet Miss Amira Khalil, daughter of the late Professor Hassan Khalil, the young woman who just saved us all from financial disaster. The entire room began to applaud, slow at first, then louder and louder. Amira felt overwhelmed. A few hours ago she was invisible. Now 50 of the world's most powerful businessmen were clapping for her. Sir, she said to Sheikh Ahmad, I just did what my father taught me. I couldn't let them steal from good people. What you did, Sheikh Ahmad replied, took incredible courage. You risked everything to save strangers. You weren't strangers, Amira said simply. You've been kind to my family. You offered to pay for my education. I couldn't let them hurt you. Mr. Yamamoto stepped forward. Miss Khalil, your father's research helped my company avoid 3 major fraud attempts. We owe your family a great debt. As do we all, agreed Mr. Chen. Your father saved my retirement fund in 2019, said an elderly investor. His warning about a Ponzi scheme saved me millions. He advised our government on financial security, added another man. His policies protected our entire country from investment scams. Sheikh Ahmad had tears in his eyes. Amira, your father would be so proud of you tonight. I hope so, she whispered. I know so, he replied firmly. Then Sheikh Ahmad made an announcement that changed everything. Gentlemen, we came here tonight to discuss a business opportunity. That opportunity was fake, but we've discovered something much more valuable. Everyone listened carefully. We've found integrity. We've found courage. We've found the kind of character that's rare in our world. He turned to Amira. Miss Khalil, I have a proposition for you. Her heart started beating fast again. Instead of going to college next year, how would you like to come work for us? All of us. As a consultant to help us spot fraud and make better investments. The room erupted in agreement. Brilliant idea, said Mr. Rodriguez. Count me in, added Mr. Chen. My company needs someone like her immediately, said Mr. Yamamoto. She could save us millions every year, said another investor. We need her wisdom in our board meetings, added a third. Amira looked around in shock. But I'm just a maid's daughter. I don't have a degree or experience. You have something better, Sheikh Ahmad replied. You have wisdom, honesty, and your father's gift for seeing the truth. You have practical training from one of the world's best fraud experts. Mr. Rodriguez added. You have integrity that can't be bought or taught, said Mr. Chen. What do you say? Sheikh Ahmad asked with a warm smile. Amira thought about her father. She thought about all the lessons he taught her. She thought about how proud he would be to see her using those lessons to help people. I say yes, she replied with confidence. The room exploded in cheers and applause. As the evening ended and the investors said their goodbyes, each one stopped to shake Amira's hand and give her their business card. Thank you for saving my retirement fund, one elderly man said. Thank you for stopping those criminals, said another. Thank you for being brave when no one else was, said a third. You are welcome in my country. Anytime, said Mr. Rodriguez. My company will pay you very well for your consulting, promised Mr. Yamamoto. You saved my children's future, said another man with tears in his eyes. When everyone had left, Sheikh Ahmad sat down with Amira in his study. Your life is about to change completely, he told her. Are you ready for that? I think so, she replied. My father always said that life gives us chances to help others. Tonight felt like one of those chances. Your father was a wise man, Sheikh Ahmad agreed, and he raised a wise daughter. He handed her an envelope. This is your first consulting fee. $50,000 for tonight's work. Amira's eyes went wide. Sir, that's too much. I was just doing the right thing. The right thing just saved us all from disaster. You earned every penny? Actually, Sheikh Ahmad continued, this is just the beginning. Each of those investors wants to hire you. Your annual income will be more than most people make in a lifetime. Amira couldn't believe it. This morning she was worried about paying for college. Tonight she was being offered a career that would make her rich. But remember, Sheikh Ahmad said seriously, money is not the most important thing you earned tonight. What do you mean? She asked. You earned respect. You earned trust. You earned the knowledge that you can make a difference in the world. As Amira walked home that night, she thought about how much had changed in just a few hours. She went from being invisible to being seen, from being nobody to being somebody important. But the most important thing hadn't changed at all. She was still her father's daughter, still someone who believed in doing the right thing, no matter how scary it might be. The next morning, newspapers around the world carried the story. Maid's daughter exposes $250 million fraud ring. But Amira knew the real headline should be different. Good always wins over evil, if you're brave enough to speak up. Her phone rang all day with job offers from companies around the world. Television reporters wanted to interview her. Universities wanted to give her honorary degrees. But the call that meant the most came from Detective Morrison. Miss Khalil, he said, because of your courage last night, we've arrested 12 more criminals in 6 countries. You've helped us shut down the biggest fraud network in history. That's wonderful, Amira replied. But there's more, the detective continued. We found evidence that your father was investigating the same network when he died. His research notes helped us understand how they operated. Amira felt her father's presence stronger than ever. Even in death, he was still protecting people from criminals. Your father would be so proud, Detective Morrison said. I know he is, Amira replied with a smile. Never judge people by their clothes, their job, or their family. The smallest person in the room might have the biggest truth to tell. And always remember, when you see something wrong, speak up. Your voice might be the one that saves everyone. Sometimes the most important lessons come from the most unexpected teachers. Sometimes the biggest heroes look like ordinary people. What would you do if you saw people about to be tricked? Would you be brave enough to speak up like Amira?